Alright, everybody, how's it going? My name is Asbiel, and I am the Guildmaster of the Guild of Legends, located in the heart of the multiverse. And today we're jumping back into Satisfactory to catch up on some uh, laying some foundation, doing some of the basic groundwork that I have completely ignored up to this point. Um, Last time I was streaming, I had mentioned that there was there were a lot of elements of my setup that were not ideal, right? Um, so we're looking to fix that. And if you were present in the previous stream, you might, with a keen eye, you might notice that I'm actually set on a different milestone. As off stream, I went ahead and I completed the expanded power infrastructure as well as the jetpack uh, milestones, just because I had the materials done, uh, and there wasn't really any reason to wait on them further. Um, Instead of doing them on stream, it's just me handcrafting some items and throwing them in the machine. So, no no real loss there. However, just because I'm on this pipeline engineering Mark II milestone doesn't mean that I'm planning to do that yet. That would allow me to clean up some of my power station uh, pipe work, because what I have is not ideal and it's limited largely because of the capacity of those Mark One pipelines. However, my power is currently just fine. I have a good consistent rate, and my consumption is still notably below my production. So, what I want to do is set up uh, some stations to take care of things that I haven't yet done. Um, this is going to include some copper. This is going to include some iron. I've established a new foundry off stream as well. Let's go ahead and check that out. Um, my previous foundry is now exclusively doing steel pipes to be able to feed this. Uh, Shoot, what is this doing? I don't even remember off the top of my head. This is my motors. So we're still not getting the rotors at the rate that we would like. Um, Previously it was holding on the stators because it wasn't getting in the steel pipes and stuff fast enough, I believe. Now it's holding on the rotors because they're not getting the iron. Uh, Looks like the screws are sort of the limitation there, which makes sense because the iron rods come through pretty quickly. Um, so my original foundry is now just doing steel pipes, and we can go over there real quick to check that out. Um, but after that, we'll check out the new foundry, which I've established with room for expansion, as it's currently just set up to uh, do a somewhat basic uh, amount. You can see I no longer have the uh, storage stuff set up here, because this isn't where materials are being made to be kept. This is where materials are being made to be immediately sent over to a production line. I had set up that that sink that I just destroyed, I had set that up so that I could throw away a bunch of excess materials that I had in reconfiguring this situation. If I were to adjust this again, I mean, I have these so far out here because they were made with splitters in mind. If I did this again, I would have them butted right up against the foundries. I would probably have the foundries just immediately side by side with their constructors right in front to really cut down on the footprint. But it's like this because we were just working with the already established uh, placements of the machines. And honestly, in the long run, this foundry probably isn't going to stick around, at least not in the state that it's currently in. It might be converted down the line to just an independent steel, not steel, an independent iron production facility. But for now, we're maintaining it because it has its use as a part of an established production line. Now, for our steel production, any steel where we would need to go gather materials, uh, we can swing over here and see that I established a second miner on this other coal node here, both of which are feeding into this line. The original one, of course, feeding into the line that goes back to the original steel production. The steel pipe production line now. But if we come up here, we can check out the platform that I have built. Again, lots of room for expansion. I currently have them feeding to storage all the way out here so that it's closer to me when I come to get this stuff. And the storage for these production lines will probably always be over here, even if I expand this to have more machines, more output, and more things that aren't just the basic steel components being thrown out here. Now, what I could have done with this, honestly, is had steel pipes all go into one container. I have it going into two, and there's not really a reason for that. Let's see, can I do a merger real quick? I can do a merger. So let's actually go ahead and do that real quick. Instead of having it outputting to a second thing, the steel pipes are produced slowly enough by their machines that we can put them both on a single storage line, a single conveyor belt, and they won't be bogging it down. Then over here, I've got my steel beams, and here I've got my encased industrial beams, which are a big part of what was slowing us down previously, as we didn't have a good production line, but now we have it set up to give us 9 of these per minute, pulling from our freighter supply points over here. We've got all of our iron coming in from these 2 miners, which let's see. I'm curious. I think these miners are set to the same output, which are going to be about 240 together. It looks like they're not completely filling this up, so I think we're good. Yeah. So they're outputting about 240, unless one of these is overclocked, which I don't think they are. Yeah, so plenty of room for that. Now, I am curious to see, did I have this being overclocked to 180? Still well within the means of the belts, apparently. It looks like what's really slowing this belt down, you can tell because it is stopping and starting is that it's actually not being used as quickly as it's being made up here. So these are getting 45 here and 90 here. Not quite the rate that it's being produced, but that is giving us enough to feed this pretty consistently. It's not more than this can take, but it is keeping it consistent. It's not stopping. I don't believe for concrete at any point. As you can see, it usually gets up to about 11 before before it finishes. And I don't think that'll ever really change. It might be off, a little bit here and there, but it's got it feeding pretty consistently to where this is always making 9 per minute. And I could always see about upgrading to make more, but the limitation then is using 36 ingots. This is making 36 ingots. And this isn't even fully overclocked, but this is overclocked to 36. Otherwise, it'd be like 36 point something or 37 point something. Um, and I prefer to have it on flat numbers. I think it just looks and works better. Um, Even though ultimately it is inconsequential. Uh, yeah, this is our foundry. Gave us a big, I think, 15 by 15 or maybe 20 by 20 uh, platform so that we have room for expansion. Obviously, you know, already the rate that we're making stuff, like it could be faster. We could be making more here, but what's largely holding us back is going to be the capacity of our machines, uh, less than it is the capacity of our space. So I'm gonna grab some materials from these since we're here. I'm just grabbing all of the encased beams because those can be used for the new Mark IV conveyor belts. And we can go ahead and we can go check out where I believe somewhere in one of our production lines we had a setup that was producing too much material for the conveyor belts to handle. So I want to check that. Um, Actually, thinking about it, I believe it might have been in our foundry. Not our foundry, our refinery. So we're gonna go check out our refinery. Hopefully not topple our vehicle here. I just saw a power slug though, so we're gonna go ahead and grab that. It's in the poison, but it's something that we can do quickly enough that it's not really an issue. Even without gas masks, which we have, we could absolutely uh, be using those, but um, there isn't much of a need for it just yet. Uh, Speaking of equipment, we're gonna want to set up a spot in our refinery for making fabric. So we might do, we might try to set that up quickly, because we have one of the main components for it already, if not the main component. I'm not really sure offhand what it requires, but um, let's see. So we could get rubber concrete, which is just an alternate concrete recipe, steel ingot, or pure quartz crystal. I'm gonna say solid steel ingot because that might be in the long run a better steel production uh, material, and concrete isn't something that I'm too worried about. And needing a refinery to make rubber to then make concrete would be kind of a pain. Whereas here, I can just do it with the coal that I'm already using and iron ingots, which just requires uh, a constructor. So I think that's the way to go. Now, we've got some things here. Obviously, like these two require supercomputers, which I don't think we even have yet. It also requires the heavy, heavy frames, which are going to be a pain. So those are definitely not going to be done yet. This one, I need fuel and I need uh, compacted coal, which I don't think I've made before, and a hard drive, which I've got one waiting. Explosive rebar. Honestly, a factory I should set up should be weapons production. Uh, Doing my gunpowder, my smokeless powder, making iron rebar and uh, Noblisk and stuff like that. Um, I think there would absolutely be a benefit to doing that. Oh, I could possibly make the rifle. I wish I could pin that, but let's see. I need smokeless powder, so I would need to set up a refinery to make the smokeless powder, um, which I don't currently have. I don't think I really have a need for this petroleum coke, so I'm gonna burn that off real quick. Because if I ever need petroleum coke, I can always set it up in my refinery. It gets made super quickly, so I'm not worried about it. Make this power shard to add to our stockpile. What were we? We were gonna come over here. I wanted to see what it would take to make gas mask and a jetpack. Right. So we're gonna need motors, so we'll have to come over here to grab some motors. That would have normally been a part of it that would have taken a little bit. 15 circuit boards. We don't have production set up for circuit boards yet, but we can do that. We can grab those pretty quickly. Um, the main thing that's going to slow us down is going to be the 100 fabric, which I think that's just for the gas mask. So I'm not too worried about it just yet. Let's go ahead and see what it takes to make 15 circuit boards. Okay. It seems like using shift to add stuff by tens is really hit or miss. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't want to. That right there is why a big part of why I need to do another copper facility is because I don't have anywhere that actually produces copper sheets, which I will need as we continue on for pipelines and stuff like that, which are a very necessary part of later production. I think the first thing we're going to want to set up, though, is a good iron facility to make us, let's see, make us modular frames, which should be pretty easy. Uh, it's all made out of iron, and then heavy modular frames, which are going to introduce steel into the mix, which we're going to be pulling encased industrial beams and steel pipes. So we'll probably see if we can set this up somewhere near our foundry to where we can more easily shift those materials over without it being a whole thing. But if I can make this jetpack real quick before we go anywhere else, that'll be nice. Uh, I don't have fuel for the jetpack, so what I'm probably going to do is in my foundry, in my refinery, I'm also going to want to set up a fuel station. Um, or else I would want to set up a second refinery area specifically for fuel, possibly. Because the more I add to that one foundry, the more bogged down it's going to get, but that might be okay in the long run. We're going to put our rubber and plastic back in here because we've always got that back at the refinery, so I don't really need to hang on to it too much. Let me start bringing my rebar with me just because I always have this with me, but I never have ammo for it. All right, so let's grab some other basic materials real quick. Um, I'm just gonna grab 3 stacks of everything. I'm also gonna go to get some more reinforced plates over at that facility. I'm gonna need to get some copper and cables and probably some quick wire would be good. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of everything. And I'm probably gonna throw a bunch of this into the storage for my vehicle. Just because it'll be kept out of my way then. We're gonna grab a couple motors as well. Just 3 stacks of everything. It tends to be a decent amount, so that's what I always go for. So I think the issue with weather is that the desert probably specifically doesn't rain, but I'm guessing the weather is universal. So even though it shouldn't be raining here, it still gets the sounds because it's technically raining. There's just no visual for it. That would be my guess. I'm going to go ahead and grab my copper sheets. And then some screws and concrete, and we should be good. Concrete, I actually tend to grab a little bit more than everything else. I only wanted 5. Because concrete is what I use for my foundations. I do the full concrete ones, so I don't need plates or anything. And it works out well. Now, to the refinery. We're going to see if we can update some of those conveyor belts to where they're not getting bogged down so that our production won't end up getting caught up at any point. I believe it's our... We have materials that are just being sent into the sink, and that's what's where the issue there would be. Oh yeah, you can actually see the rain out here. That's interesting. It's just in the dunes it doesn't rain. I forgot I actually had my fuel set up to be stored. Um, Completely forgot about that. Um, Let me check on something. Eventually, this isn't going to be able to keep putting out polymer resin, so I should set up a sink path for that, which I could easily do. I just don't like what it's going to take to do it. I say that because this whole thing is supposed to have walls. That was part of the design plan, was for this entire refinery to be walled in. But that's gonna end up causing problems in the long run. I mean, I already have issues with that, like with that one there that would be clipping into the walls. So we're gonna go ahead and beef this up and see, because these can handle 270, these handle 480. Um, that's weird that fuel seemed to get pushed through when there should be plenty of room for fuel to go the other way. We go ahead and upgrade all of these as well. Um, there shouldn't be any issue with just ramping up all these. I don't think it's necessary, exactly, because this is putting out what, 120. So really the belt should be outputting. Yeah, the belt is outputting faster than the machine can produce. So we're good there. I'll fix this. It was feeding into the connector and not into the belt, and it didn't look as clean. So those belts should be good. Shouldn't have any issue with this, these belts being bogged down. It'll take a minute, I think, for it to clear out the machines. Because right now it might as well be getting an infinite input, because the machines had been backed up to their capacity for the petroleum coke. But now there'll be an opportunity for those to clear out, and that'll be good. Our fuel is being fed into here, and then once this is full, it'll be fed into the oh, that was wrong. I need a smart splitter for that, which I need rotors and thing. I forgot to get my Caterium wire, my quick wire. So we're gonna have to run back, get a quick wire to make a spark splitter, so that um, once the blue stuff is full, it won't get sent into the it won't back up the machine. Because if that one gets full, then our fuel is going to stop being produced, and we don't want our fuel to stop being produced. I had to remember I was going to Caterium, not to HQ. Interestingly, they just put out a video today mentioning that they are going to be doing an announcement trailer for update 8 next week, I think. So that'll be cool. I'm very curious to see what update 8 would have in store. Update 7 had some really good stuff with the blueprints and all of that. So every update is good to see. And it really is great to see that there is consistent updates as well. I need to remember I have the jetpack now, which means I am never at risk of falling to my doom anymore, as long as I don't mess up and waste all my fuel before I hit the ground. So, we're going to head back into our refinery. We're going to see about setting up a sink path for the solid byproduct of our fuel, which initially the fuel was the byproduct and how we had set it up, but now the fuel is kind of the main component that we care about, so that is an interesting evolution. I forgot to actually make stuff, so I'm just going to put a craft bench over here. We need a couple rotors. I think only like 2, so make 2. Make an AI limiter. And then set up our smart splitter. That is going to be sending nothing that way. We're going to send overflow through the side there. And then we'll just do a Mark 4 to make sure it never has an issue with getting bogged down. Now, I want to pull Constructor real quick and see. Okay, so it's not there. It might actually be on our refinery then. I'm looking for polyester fabric, which is water and polymer resin. So what we can do, let's see, do we have any water around here? The only water we have is going to be up in the hills, it looks like. We don't actually have a spot for it here. I guess on the subject of the walls, these pipes would also be cutting it, so maybe in the end we just won't do walls for now. It might be something that we end up redoing, rebuilding the refiner, because this isn't very well set up. We do have kind of a disgusting network of belts overhead, and then of course, like, I think these pipes are fine, because you have to have pipes coming off the front of the machines. There's no getting around that. And doing them in this way, I like the vertical to horizontal style, so I think this is about as good as we can get. And the fact that it's uniform across both sets, I think that's good. But yeah, there's definitely room for improvement here, but we have a functioning setup, so we're not too worried about it. Now, how this will go is, where is our polymer resin being output? Right here? No. No, it's being output right there. So what we would probably do is set up a refinery over here. Like if we did, actually having it sideways might be the way to go. Initially I was thinking like this, but this comes with potential complications because there's not much room for it that way. So for lack of ability to make it as neat as we would like, we'd probably do a setup roughly like this. All this blue stuff, instead of being up there, would get buried through here. And we probably will keep it ground level just because we have lack of real estate. for having it elevated. And then we could do this like so. That will bring it right into here. We just set this up to polyester fabric. And you know what? What we can do is set up a splitter. But we want a smart splitter, which means you need to make more parts. Actually, why would I sink the resin when I could sink the fabric? This is putting out 30. This is going to need 30. Then this will just need water. For now, we're just going so that we don't interrupt our little situation here. We're gonna keep that going through its normal pathway. I'm gonna need to find a way to set this up with water. And that'll set that up to where it is feeding into that storage container that we'll just have repurposed for the fabric instead of the other material. Of course, this seems to be slightly off. Unless I'm absolutely crazy. I'm pretty sure we need this here. There we go. I think that is straight now. And then we'll just replace that overflow with one connected to this, to the fabric. Actually, we might just connect it to here. Have it loop around the inside instead of the outside. Make this go overflow. And it's roughly in line with that, I think. So we'll go like that. And then we'll just do a merger here. It is in line with there we go. I don't think that actually needs to be Mark IV. Several of them don't need it, but are set up for it anyway. Now, what I can also do is set this up with a full stack to where it's fully ready to begin as soon as it starts getting water. Now, if our nearest water is in these hills up here, that means I'm going to need to go up into those hills and into those mountains, rather. It's not hills. And see about establishing a pipeline for water. Oh, it's not up, it's actually down there. Which is, honestly, roughly level with my stuff anyway. So we'll set about dismantling this ramp because we won't need it. The only downside is that it's a bit far away. And it is kind of through some less than ideal terrain. But if it is deep enough, then we can make use of it. Of course, before we can figure that out, we have to deal with some threats. That's not that bad. Oh, there's more enemies here than I thought. Yeah, well, I can shoot too, bud. It's not very powerful, is it? I can take these out manually a lot more quickly. As long as they don't have one of the big ones threatening me, then I can always take them out pretty well with the sword. Okay, so this is going to be way too shallow. This is this is not a workable body of water. However, if I get that alternate power source, that can be used here. That geothermal generator. That's something I can use there. See a waterfall over yonder, which suggests possibly water on ground level, also suggests possibly water in the hill, in the mountains. So we will go about ground level and see what we can find. While, of course, being ready to go up into the hills if that ends up being the path that is easiest. Oh, these guys know how to lead their shots. I had no idea. This guy is going to be a problem if I can't heal. And I only have the one food item. It'd be real nice to have the rifle. There we go. Give me those. And we'll pick up all this scrap. And see if we can crack into this thing real quick. Ten rubber. Well, conveniently, I have a refinery just over here. I think something I'm going to want to do is, man, remember when I was planning to set that up to that platform to go, like, all the way over here? That would have been wild. That would have been a huge platform. But for the scope of the refinery, it would honestly probably be useful to have it go that far. Grab our rubber real quick so that we can pop open that device. So we're actually going to grab some plastic as well, just in case we need the materials for other building stuff. If we need to make circuit boards and whatnot, you know? I missed modular frame. And just offload some concrete. Is the easiest thing to give up right now is the concrete. We got a river here. The river isn't going to suit our needs, I don't think. But this water might work. Ah, it doesn't. Let's see if this falls into a pool or if it's just straight into the river. Ah, right into the river. Let's do some climbing. So it looks like the waterfall itself comes from pretty far up. If we can get up there with if we can get up there, then we might be able to bring the water down to the refinery instead of being level with the water. This jetpack was an incredible idea. Exactly what we need in this given scenario, otherwise we would be building just an insane amount of ramps. Is there somewhere to be up there? Maybe, but it might also be dangerous if there are local wildlife up here. This is an interesting little cave. It's a nice big open space. It wouldn't be bad for building in other than the roof height, which is something you could work around. A lot of machines, though, you could fit in here. The actual real problem is going to be how unlevel the ground is. And if you leveled it out, you're going to be even closer to the ceiling across the board, so... Let's see. From here, we might have a better shot if we actually do build some ramps. And here we are at the top of the hill where our body of water is at. The main issue is going to be piping it back to our refinery over the way. The kind of benefit we have in this scenario is that a lot of terrain that is just out of the way, so it doesn't need to look as good. You're not really going to be frequenting. I don't know why my brain is struggling with that word. You're not going to be up here regularly, so it shouldn't be too bad. Go ahead and drop these. We'll turn all these remains into protein so we can clear up some space. Now for our... we need 10 rotors. No more. No less. Specifically no more because if we have more then we're going to run out of storage space. Go ahead and put that there. We will set up a power line here. And actually, before we go on, let's go ahead and figure out where our power lines are going to go. Because that'll help figure out the path that we need to run our pipes. I'm going to go up here real quick to see if it'll be better to go up the hill or... Nah, you know what? If we go right to here, then we can kind of stagger the pipes going down. We don't need to go up the hill. I don't think. Just go along this way. We kind of use the power lines as our guidelines for the pipes, and we should be good. Whoa. Almost fell. Yeah, we can actually send that right down there. And then that would take us along this path. It should bring us down here. I'll go ahead and throw the power line on the corner here. I don't have high-speed connectors, otherwise I would make that a Mark III just to make it taller. I think we can get away with that. That'll power our waterway. And I'm not fully sure how we're going to do the pipes from here, but I think we'll figure that out once we get there. For now, I want to get to the other side and see how much water we can actually pull from this place. I should probably build a ladder or something. I bet there's a bunch of power slugs around here. Really? Nothing? That's kind of surprising. Alright, yeah, I think I'm gonna go back to where my power line is at and see if I can establish a better climbing path from there. Oh, actually that worked out fairly well. Let's see. Platform. Now here's the plan. I'm gonna go ahead and hit one of these. Like so. Give us a stair going up. Stair going up. Then, did I get the ladder? I did. So then we will... Actually, let's put the ladder over here. Let's put the ladder right up on the edge there. I think that looked like it was to the top. And the ladder is mainly going to be for getting back up here, like so. And just as a good safety precaution, we can throw on some railing. So that we can always be safe. Is that ramp sufficient? Not quite. We'll do the stairs. Even though stairs clips into the ground there, we're fine with that as is. And I'm doing this because I kind of think that is going to be a better path for the actual pipeline to go. In which case we will bring the stairs onto this side. So the pipe will come off of here and continue on the path. This gives us a spot to walk. It's real nice and neat. And just to feel better about that situation, we'll have that go all the way down. Unfortunately, this ladder did end up perfectly at the perfect height. Exactly where we want it to be. Still only have one space in my inventory. Maybe we can fix that along the way. Now this thing I think will produce 300 water per minute. 300... No, 120 cubic meters of water. Which should be more than enough. We're not trying to do anything crazy here. We might need to do an occasional pump, but otherwise I think we're good. And we'll just do pipes along the way. And these pipes, the pipes, I think, carry 300 cubic meters. Hopefully we have enough copper for this. Can we... I want to set to using horizontal to vertical anyway. I need you to connect to the other side. Now, this we should be able to have all the way down here. That's a slightly awkward looking angle. Hold on, you were connected. There you go. Maybe if I have it... Stand up, please. There we go. Like this. That's slightly better. And I think for stretches like this, it works better if it's not on the horizontal to vertical. I do think this would look better maybe if... Whoops. We did it this way. There we go. And then, again, the pipeline will just follow the path laid out here. This will look better going the other way, I'm sure. Ooh, not with that clipping. Maybe if we can go like over here. Nope, that clipping is going to be a problem either way. So maybe in an attempt to make this look a little bit more neat, we'll do another one of these. Do the manned platform over here. The accessible platform for anyone working on the pipeline. We'll actually shift this over because we care about how our things look. I should add the ladder here. And this one will just have more centered on here. Throw up, I'll actually move the ladder over, I guess. Alright, so this is going to be adjusted a little bit. This is going to be adjusted to go over this way. This one we're going to keep on auto there. However, we'll go horizontal to vertical here. Let's see, does the center match it? Yes, it does. The center's good. And then, like before, we'll have it do that way to where it's sitting closer. Adjust our ladder real quick to be a little bit more in line with there should work. There we go, and this should bring us up into the open space here. We've got the pipes there. And just kind of smooth out the transition. Go ahead and do a platform there. All right. Pipes back to auto. Bring it out here. And I think we're going to do yet another platform here. I'll do it kind of like this. And I'm not too worried about the drop here. Hmm. Yeah, all the way down so it'll look good, but I think we want to try to have this roughly level with our main platform. So let's see. Let's bring this over here so we can kind of see what we're working with. Yeah. Do it like so. And you know what I want to do over here? And build a stairway going down here. This isn't actually going to stay. And we'll do a similar stairway here. I am slightly tempted to rebuild this platform on the grid of the main platform, but I think having them separate is fine. We're gonna hope that that is kind of far, so we couldn't really see what we were doing with it, but we're gonna hope that it reaches properly. And it does. And here's the part we didn't account for. Of course, I was not accounting for the we'll actually do like this. Get rid of this ladder, that ladder, and we're gonna hope that we can do it again. Let's see, right there should work. All the way up, all the way up, and trying to reach the edge like so. And we've done it. All right, pipelines. I think we're gonna have one right here, which will connect to this. And down here, we're gonna do one roughly in the same sort of a spot. Set that horizontal to vertical and hope that they can go tall enough for this. Because if this is too far, it means we're gonna have to change up the design. Seems it works perfectly though. And our water is flowing down the entire way here, and then it's roughly level with the platform. So we shouldn't have any issue. The only problem is the length of the pipe. which we can kind of get around by setting up a sort of a midway. Boop, 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 boop. Can we build further on top of that? We can. It's not perfect because it would be better if it was just a single piece coming up all the way, but we'll take what we can get. There we go. Now this will have everything it needs to produce our fabric, which means get rid of this, get rid of this, and put in our conveyor belt here. All of our resin will go where it needs to go. This will make our fuel, this will make our resin. Resin going into here to make our polyester fabric at the perfect rate of usage. All that fabric will start going into here, and let's go ahead and make a little temporary box to burn our excess. We'll just connect that like so. Start putting this in here. And pulling it from here. It's going to take a minute at this rate. There we go. We'll just do this. And kind of plan to take out all of our useful materials before we're done. That way we can just dump all that in there. Grab all the important things out of here again. Just take all, because we're going to need some of that fabric anyway. And then eventually, once this is done offloading all of its materials, we can take it back. You know, it would actually probably be faster. And, you know, we don't care too much about the visuals here, because these are not going to be permanent. We'll just slap that on there, and then this will offload everything much quicker, because it is a pathway that is exclusively devoted to destroying these. And then we already have our overflow set up for this path. Now here's the thing. This is making 30. That's 30. It's 150. So 240. 270. So far it's 270. This is 390 with that. And then we have whatever our plastics and stuff are putting out. Looks like another 60. So our yeah, look at that. So this is now only offloading whenever it actually finishes, so that's good. It is seemingly keeping it pretty consistent somehow. I guess it just makes it fast enough that with the other materials, right, it's still taking its time. um, what can help this a little bit is going to be, it's not going to look good. But what can help this a little bit is if I do this. Get rid of this, get rid of this. The fuel doesn't need to come through here. Oh, except the fuel will once it's full. But, you know, I think that actually is better left. Want this. Just come this way. Right output, we can do overflow and again, it's not, doesn't look good. And it's something that we can fix later. We'll just do the fast ones just because. We're gonna go ahead and pull some more of this. I ended up with some stuff in my inventory that I don't need, so we'll throw that away. Just take 2 full stacks of the fabric, and we'll see about heading back. That ended up taking us a little bit of time, but that is sort of the way of this game. Things you will progress slowly at first, but once you start laying the foundations and getting everything working for you, in the long run, things will go a lot quicker. Which is probably a good thing to remember in regards to, like, life lessons or something. I don't know. I should have grabbed some extra fuel while I was up there. Although I don't have compacted coal yet, so maybe I do. I'm not sure if I do or not. But you know what? Let's go ahead and got some materials laying around, so let's go ahead and offload those real quick. Just to get them in there. So we're not doing that milestone just yet, but having that will help out in the long run. I do have the fabric now, so I just need to grab my plastic and rubber, and then we can make the gas mask. Which we only have to make the gas mask once, so we can then equip that. And the only thing we're missing now is something to go in the body slot, which, oh, that's the, it's the radiation suit. I couldn't remember what went in that slot, but, now I do. So coal is the only thing then that we need for, uh, that we don't currently have some amount of for the, actual filters. But, you know what? We need to... Let's offload our hard drive. Actually, we can use a hard drive. So we only need the one that for an actual upgrade. So I do want to take a look at my options for making inhalers. Protein and barrel nuts can make inhalers one at a time. Nutritional needs all of the food items. Vitamin needs mycelia and pale berries. That is another good option. Therapeutic is mycelia, protein. Let's grab all of our protein, all of this and that, and the other thing. I filled my inventory. So we got a lot of protein, so we might be able to some of these. This we can absolutely get away with making. These we can make get away with making 11 of them because we have just that many barrel nuts. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and do this one real quick. Hold on, hold on, hold on. I'm gonna do this one because I kind of want to just offload some of these materials. I don't need these sitting around in my inventory. However, that means I can't get rid of all the barrel nuts, so it was not perfect. But now we've got the inhaler, which will give us healing. This. Got chainsaw object scanner. We don't have a zip line, but we don't have a hand slot for that either. Let's go ahead and throw this stuff back in here. We'll go ahead and just burn all those. And we'll take these and add that to that stack. That gives us a fair amount of healing items, which is good, should we ever need such things. Okay. First task should be a quick and easy task. We're going to find a good spot for copper. We're going to try to find a pure node of copper. Of course, one that we're not already tapping for something else. Normal, impure. This one is normal and it's claimed. Does it stop the scan when I go into the menu? I think it does. Maybe it only goes like 750. I don't know. So I'm pretty sure we've got copper out this way somewhere. We do. We've got a normal copper node out here. Dude, I can get 120 out of a normal node, I think. So that might be the way we end up going. I would like a pure node if possible, though. Let's see. Normal, normal, normal. But with these nodes actually being so close... What are these things floating in the air? Oh, okay. It was trees that hadn't yet rendered in. So we've got some normal nodes out here that are pretty close to one another. So we could make this our copper zone. The new copper zone. And if we're going to do that, we want to go ahead and clear out some of the foliage. Because we're going to start doing some pretty heavy construction. Throughout this entire zone. This is Coppertown. Something I hope that they will fix has to do with this. Like, there's no reason the copper ore should be getting in the way of this grass. And the way I've seen other games fix it is by giving you like an option to shift between what is showing up on your thing. Yeah, I have to be this far away for it to not pick up the copper. That's ridiculous. And that means this stuff is pretty much impossible to ever get rid of now. Unless I blow it up, which is absurd. But it is necessary. But yeah, ways I've seen games fix that in the past is having it like set up so where you can use your mouse wheel to, or some other key press to shift uh, what is the active uh, interaction based on what else is in range. I think that would be a good solution for that. I think that would be a good way to handle the problem pretty cleanly. I don't know why I'm going all the way over here. I guess I'm just thinking like for the pathway out of here. Out of our little copper town. These little bits of grass are unremovable, I guess. So we're going to clean up this area, and we're going to work on establishing a high quality copper output that will sort of replace the, and not necessarily replace, but kind of replace what copper production we've already established. Because if we look at our map, going down here, most of my copper is over here in this spot. Calm down. Most of my copper is right over here near my hub. And it is kind of partially responsible for the clutter in that area. And if we can set up a neat separated copper zone, then all the better. And let's just do another scan. I want to double check to see how much exactly is out here. We've got two nodes right next to each other. We've got one further over here, as well as one over here, a pure node actually. A pure node that I was looking for. So what I would probably do is when I get monorail trains, maybe set up a track that is bringing that over here and bring these materials together to a singular copper factory. That way, using trains so I don't have belts running everywhere and really cluttering the place up. Unfortunately, this is not really any further off from my hub than most of my stuff. Like, my steel pipes are kind of a pain to get to because I have to go over like 3 big dunes to get to it. So like using the Explorer is kind of slow. Um, my foundry and my refinery are the furthest points away. I guess I've got quartz and sulfur out there, but those aren't really something I go to regularly. Um, but this is still pretty close to the hub area, which is good. I'm gonna probably go until I fill up my inventory on grass and leaves. And then we'll head back to the hub, check out that hard drive research, and offload materials. Where's the other copper? Ah, it's over there. So I'm heading roughly in the right direction. I want to clear out basically everything between these two, and then the areas immediately around them. Are we gonna do this, bud? You gonna do this? I don't want this. Could have gotten out of this in one piece, but you chose violence. I say as I am intruding on their territory. How much more capacity do I have? I've got more room for my seal. I have a fair amount more room for leaves, so... I don't have room for leaves anymore. Alright. Do I have room for copper? I don't. So, let's head back to the hub. And part of this is nice because when I do start setting up another iron, I could use this stuff. It's not great iron, but that's pure, so that kind of makes up for the other one being impure. So that'll be a good spot for me to establish another setup like this for iron to make pipe bars and plates and reinforced plates, screws, all that good stuff. This one is my bio... Oh, I haven't set up my biomass. So... You know what? You know what? Instructor... And... Constructor, that's not playing nicely. We're gonna have a merger here. That's going to... Excuse me. Hold on. What's going on here? What are you... Why did I not set up my merger the right direction? So this is going to be leaf biomass. This is going to be wood biomass. And I'll set up industrial storage with a smart splitter. One end will go here, the other will go there, this will go in here, and this smart splitter is going to say wood to the left. It's going to say leaves to the center. They're going to wire these up with something. This way I can offload all my leaves and wood into the same space. It will split them appropriately. We'll feed the biomass into here, which will feed that into the solid biomass production line. That means I can take my excess leaves out of here. Throw my mycelia. Throw the nuts. Actually, take the nut and the protein. Turn that into another inhaler. Keeps protein. Equip the inhaler. Not overwrite my sword, please. Not actually a sword. I sometimes wish it was. Would make no difference in the long run. So that whole situation that I just put together is the sort of thing that I want to clean up from here. But before I do that, I want to work on other things. So we may maintain some of the mess, but actually, you know, instead of that, we're just going to take our explorer over there. We're going to throw a bunch of our materials into the back of it. And you know what? I think we'll take out the less common materials. I think that works. I think that's good. That makes use of the storage for storage. I would actually be tempted to see about replacing it with a truck. This truck is going to have 48 slots. This is, what, not even 30? Not even close to 30. Closer to, like, what, 20? Rough estimate of 20. But the Explorer is quick, and it is good with climbing terrain, which is the main reason to keep using it over other things. I think the copper was back here still. Yep. And the nice thing is, over here we've got some water. Obviously down here we've got the ocean, so we can pull water, you know, as much water as we need, pretty much, but... for our variety of needs, of water-based needs, we can have plenty of access. I'm gonna just clean up some of this stuff. I'm not gonna go further than, you know, this stuff, but... there we go. That's good enough. And then I want to start cleaning up the area right around that node of copper. So I'm going to establish sort of a perimeter of, a perimeter of what I'm looking to cut down for now. There you go. So, jumping up, getting kind of a bird's eye, you can see immediate area. We might actually just clean out this whole section as well afterwards, but I want to get the bulk of what is immediately around the node first. Get everything in kind with the chainsaw. Obviously, there's going to be some rocks and stuff left over, but if we can get those, any that remain with the Nobelisk, that'll be good. And anything that can't be removed, we can just build above. Like this rock here probably won't ever go, so basically we would just try to build our foundations above the highest point like that. So I think I'm going to go ahead and round out go to the hour here. Another about 10 minutes before we call this one quits. I do want to try to actually start building some foundations before we stop, so I might go a little bit longer. We'll see. Maybe round out a full actual 2-hour stream instead of going by the clock. If I can't get this one, that means I need to explode it. I should put the Nobelisk next to that. So I use the Nobelisk more than I use the scanner. And I also use the Nobelisk alongside the chainsaw, so it makes sense. I just realized how quiet the music is. I'm not sure why it's that quiet. Let's bump that up. Hopefully make that aspect of the experience a little bit more pleasant. Yeah, we want to get rid of this because I think if we can get rid of this rock here, I bet we can't. Yeah. So what we might do is make our main platform built above this rock and then just feed in from the two sides with the copper to sort of get our actual factory right in between. So, do we need to clear out the important aspects over here before we worry about that little bit? That'll kind of remain on the side. We'll just clean this up and then start working on our foundations. Alright, now we've got a pretty good space clear. I'm just going to run through here with some Nobelisk on some of these smaller rocks and see if we can get rid of any of them. Not too worried about it, and honestly I'm just kind of... There's not going to be like a big payoff to actually clearing these rocks if I can, but... it might make the spot a bit neater, and we get to watch some fireworks. Destroyed not a single one. So, let's grab some concrete from our bar. And about there is going to be what we're going for, I think. Let's... Yeah, that is pretty much what we're going to have to go with. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go 5 over here. Oops. Stepped off the side. And 6, 7, 8. Not leave 10 over here without getting in the way of our node, actually. I think I'll probably have it come up here. That I'll probably have also come around the back, and then I'll extend further this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll just do 5 for now, because that is going to be sort of all we can make happen here. Get our explorer out of the way. And finish foundation going that way. Now, I probably want to go to like 10 that way. Hold on. This is 5, 6, 7, 9. I won't even be able to do 10 that way, so maybe 8. 8 or 9. 9 we can actually get away with. 10 we start clipping into the wall. And the only way to go further this way to get... hold on. We would have to go this way to get to 10. I think we might actually be able to make that work. Let's see how this... Yeah, that gives us some clearance still. And then we can have this go out to 10 that way. So just to sort of clear this up a little bit, we'll just cut down all the foliage down here. So we'll have a big 10 by 10 square for just copper stuff. That should be plenty of space. And then we can always have other platforms that we do down the line that will involve copper and more complex machinery and stuff as we go along. But for our main copper platform, a 10 by 10 is plenty. And then, of course, we'll just build down, and then we'll probably have some ramps going down there to have a nice on-ramp. Maybe have some ramps going down on this side as well. But otherwise, we'll just set up some miners here for the copper, and then figure out what output we can get and what we're gonna need for our production lines. Now let's round it out just by closing off these two edges. And the only reason I'm not doing this side is because I would have to cut down a lot more foliage that I don't want to do right now. We will handle that next time. But that's going to be it for this bit of Satisfactory stream. For everyone who's been watching, Anybody lurking, anybody checking out the VODs on YouTube after the fact, thank you guys for coming along. I appreciate you, each and every one. I look forward to seeing you again next time. Till then, have a good one.